Hey, welcome back to Daily Driven Alpha. Right, we've two-pack epoxied the boot lid. We've done the bonnet on the underside, we've done the doors, and we've done the car again with the second coat. So the fun part today is flipping over the bonnet and then covering it and masking it up so that we can spray a sound deadener into the voids here, stop vibration, and also similar to the original material, although this is slightly different, similar to the factory finish, spray inside of these panels here. So that will help with sound deadening and also vibration because that's quite a large panel sitting across the engine. To do that, this is just a off-the-shelf from a paint manufacturer product. You can find a range of these. It's a sound deadening undercoat. You can use it underbody as well. You can use the interior of the car. It sprays on with a sort of a textured finish. It's not as heavy as the original sound deadening, the caulking material that you find on the factory 105s. But we'll put a couple of coats on there, build it up a little bit, and it'll do the job. So when you use these, you'll find that you can often buy a very rudimentary gun. It just screws on to the canister, and then when you spray it, you just use the pressure adjuster on here. It's not as scientific, if you like, as spray painting a car. You have a single nozzle that it comes out of. The product that we bought actually comes with an extension. There. So it's a flexible hose, and it just screws on into here. It has a tip on the end, and you can see with the grooves on the outside, it's designed for going into areas such as rocker panels and the like. If you need to get into some voids, especially under the wheel arches of the car, you can get up underneath and really get in and coat rather than trying to get in there with a gun. So that makes it a lot easier. We'll probably use this to get in underneath some of the areas here on the bonnet, see how we go. But we'll start with that. Let's mask it up first. What we've done is we've taken a sheet of plastic, stretched it over, and then once we've got a bit of tension, just using a knife, we're just cutting it out slowly, and then taking a masking tape that doesn't stick to the metalwork, similar to your standard masking tapes that people use when they're doing home renovations. This is more for automotive, and we will then tape it down and then seal it up so that we don't get any of this material going up onto the show parts, I guess, of the bonnet, where this will have a beautiful layer of the same 501 Rosso that we're painting the rest of the car in. So we want this to be nice and smooth, and we want this to be textured here. So in preparation, even though we etch primed these panels previously, I've just taken some 80 grit sandpaper and I've really scrubbed into it to score it up so that this material has got a nice surface to bite into and hold on to. Once we've taped all this up, we will then come back with a wax and grease remover, and we'll make sure we clean everything, dry it off with some compressed air gently, and once that's done, we'll start spraying. So let me continue with this. I'll mask it up. I'm sure you don't need to watch me cutting plastic and laying down tape, and I'll bring you back once we start with the process of spraying, so you can have a look and see what the product looks like. See you in a minute. Okay, right, let's have a look at how this goes now. I've screwed this on and adjusted some of the pressure. I've just opened up one panel at the moment just so we can have a look. Let's give it a go. Let's see what it ends up looking like. Okay, so just mucking around with the pressures. I've used a bit too much pressure here, and what it's done is it's built up a layer. It's actually sort of scalloped it out a little bit and pushed it up. So it's a bitumised product. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave it alone, and once that dries, I'll just use a sharp blade and I'll trim it, and then we'll come back and we'll actually spray over it again. But what I've noticed is if you play with the pressures and you give it short bursts, what you can do is get more of a texture rather than a smooth layer, and that's what we want here, similar to what the factory had. You want that sort of corky looking material, so it doesn't matter if it's quite rough. It's part of the look, and then once we've done that, we're going to 2-pack epoxy this, and then we'll paint over the top of it. So don't be afraid to give it a little bit, and don't worry if it gets a bit too textured. Right. Let's leave that for the moment. Let's have a bit of a look at it. Now, you might be able to see in the light here that the issues that we've got here, but you can see this texture here is good. But you can see where I've had that issue there, and I'll scallop that out and trim it out. But that's not too bad at all. So there you go. We'll start with that. What I'll do is I'll set the rest up. We'll spray it, and then I'll bring you back and we'll have a look and see what the rest of the bonnet looks like once I've completed that. So hang in there. Okay, open up another panel. Let's give this a go, see how it goes. Now one of the things too is just watch for the overspray on this. It goes quite dusty and fine, and if you've got anything around, it'll lay onto it, it'll dry, but because it's a bitumised coating, you don't want any other paint surfaces close by. So just be mindful of that, and also think about where you're painting within your work area. It might be settling on other equipment or floors, etc. I spilt a little bit of this as I laid it down on the concrete floor, but I wiped it up with some thinners or reducer. Came up pretty quickly, so just watch for any spillages. I notice there's some drops coming out of it as well, so always have a clean rag with you ready to catch anything that does drip. Right, so be mindful on your usage of the material. I'm being quite heavy because I want a thick coat here, and we want this to lay in that sort of uneven, patchy fashion that the factory finish sort of had as best we can. So I've already gone through about half of that can, so that one can normally would give you quite a range of coating if you were doing your wheel arches, etc. But because we're laying it on so thick here, we're probably using more than you'd expect if you were trying to cover larger areas. Right, let me cut the other two sections out. Let's give that a spray, and then we'll see what the final product looks when we unmask it. Okay, we've opened up these last two panels. Let's get them done, see what they look like. Now you can see I'm dropping material out of this section here, which is really annoying, but I can catch it with the material as I spray it on, so not too worried about that at the moment. But if you were doing something where you wanted a really good finish, just watch that, keep the tip clean. It's starting to run out of material now. Okay, that is one tin that's been used already, so that's a litre, and as you can see, because we've used it fairly heavily, we've only got coverage on 4 panels. I have another one of these, and we will buy more for the wheel arches of the car, etc. But I am going to need some more because of this area here where I loaded it up too high with a bit too much pressure and started to move the product, actually blasted it off the surface, and that's why it's crated up like that. But overall, the texture's not too bad. I'll bring you in, let's have a bit of a look at it and see what you think. So you can see, and maybe it's better in the light, but you can start to see the textured finish on it. And I'm not too worried about it being rough. I'm not too worried about, you know, spots or little dimples, etc., because what we're trying to achieve here is sort of that rough factory finish. You know, this is an issue here. That will need to be trimmed. That is not acceptable. But overall, it doesn't look too bad. So what I'll do is I'll let that dry a fraction, then I'll bring you back, we'll strip all the plastic off and see what it looks like.